The girl who fought every teacher and won. Elders say that when a child dares to fight an elder, it is either foolishness or the fire of truth burning too hot in their chest. But tell me, have you ever heard of the girl who fought every teacher in her school and won? This is not one of those stories they whisper at night just to scare children. No. This one happened in broad daylight, in a place where books were supposed to hold more power than fists. Crestwood Academy, it was not just a school, it was a fortress of knowledge, built on discipline, respect, and silence. But silence is a dangerous thing when truth is screaming to be heard. Now listen well, because this is the story of Aisha, 18 years old, who walked into school one morning as a student and left as a legend. She was not just any student, no, she was the kind teachers boasted about in meetings. The one whose name was always written in bold letters on the honor board, the kind mothers pointed at and said, "Why can't you be like her?" Aisha was sharp, the kind of sharp that could cut through lies, and she loved school, at least, she used to. From the outside, Crestwood Academy was a place of excellence. Inside, it was a house of iron rules. Some rules made sense. Others. They were chains wrapped around students' necks, choking them into obedience. Aisha did not see the chains at first, she was too busy winning awards, impressing teachers, making her parents proud. But a person can only walk with their head down for so long before they trip on the truth. The first crack appeared when her best friend, Yen, 17 years old, was expelled. Just like that. No hearing, no second chance. Aisha had watched him stand before the teachers, trying to explain, trying to fight back with words, but words do not work when decisions have already been made behind closed doors. They said he had cheated on an exam. But Aisha knew the truth, he was punished because he had questioned a teacher's mistake in front of the whole class. The school did not like to be questioned. Crestwood did not like students who thought too much. Something inside her shifted that day. Aisha, the girl who always followed the rules, started paying attention. She saw things she had ignored before, how some students were favored, how some teachers misused their power, how anyone who spoke too loudly against injustice found themselves in trouble. And so, she made a decision. If they did not respect truth, then she would make them respect strength. The first teacher she challenged was Mr. Keto, the mathematics teacher. A strict man, the kind who believed fear was the best way to teach. Aisha did not throw a punch, no, not yet. She waited until class, waited until he wrote an equation on the board and called on someone to solve it. She raised her hand. The room was silent as she walked to the front. She did not just solve the problem, she solved it in a way so brilliant that even Mr. Keto stood still. Then she turned to face him and asked, "Sir, why do you punish those who ask questions, instead of teaching them?" The class held its breath. Mr. Keto laughed, the kind of laugh that is more anger than humor. He pointed at the door. "Leave my class," he said. Aisha did not move. "No," she said. And that was how the first fight began. It was not a fight of fists, not yet. It was a battle of words, of intellect, of standing firm when every force pushed against her. By the end of the class, half the students were looking at Aisha differently. Some with fear, some with admiration. The teachers. They had started to whisper. One by one, she took them on. Some she defeated with knowledge, exposing their weaknesses in front of students who had been too afraid to speak. Others. Well, when words failed, Aisha reminded them that a mind trained for battle is as sharp as any blade. But Crestwood was not just ruled by teachers. There was still one left, the principal. Dr. Reynolds, 54 years old, had run Crestwood for 20 years. He was a legend in his own right. No one questioned him. No one dared. He was the final gate, the last wall standing between students and true freedom. Aisha knew her final battle would be against him. The morning of the confrontation, the entire school was silent. Every student, every teacher had heard the rumors. Aisha was being summoned. But she did not walk into his office like a girl expecting punishment. No. She walked in like a storm. Dr. Reynolds looked at her, his hands folded on his desk. "You've caused quite a stir," he said. Aisha met his gaze. "I only showed the truth." "And truth," he said, standing up, "is dangerous when spoken too loudly." She did not flinch. "Then why does Crestwood fear it so much?" The principal sighed. "You are young, Aisha. You think battles are won with bravery alone. But institutions do not break because of one student's defiance." She smiled, just a little. "Perhaps. But revolutions do not start with silence, either." Dr. Reynolds stared at her for a long time. And then, something unexpected happened. He laughed. Not in mockery, not in anger. It was something else. A kind of knowing. He walked around his desk and stood before her. "So tell me, Aisha. What do you plan to do now?" And Aisha, the girl who had fought every teacher and won, took a deep breath. She had only just begun. What happens next? Aisha's battle with the principal was just the beginning. The storm she started had begun to spread, but would she succeed in changing Crestwood's rigid system? Would she break the chains, or would the system break her first? For the final chapter of Aisha's story, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell us, was she a hero, or did she go too far? Would you have done the same in her place? Share your thoughts below. And don't forget, turn on notifications so you don't miss the conclusion. The truth is coming soon. Will you be ready?